All right, and welcome everyone. Welcome in. Come on into this. That's right. Come on into this live. We are here tonight with none other than Miss Sabrina Monroe. Okay, and
Hello.
she got the keys, y'all. She got the keys to this action, and I cannot wait to hear what nuggets, what knowledge she is about to drop tonight. I'm so super excited. I actually told her on the very first edition of this In Action series that I was coming for her.
She did.
I said, I am coming for you because this community needs to hear and know what she has to say on purpose. And not on purpose, but the topic of purpose. And that's what we're going to get into tonight because in order for us to take action in our life, we need to know what our purpose is. How do we figure it out? How do we go after it? What steps do we need to take? And so we may not be able to get into all of the details, all of the nitty gritty, but we're going to give you a little taste tonight. And so I want to welcome Miss Sabrina Monroe to the In Action series. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
having
Oh,
me.
thank you for coming. Oh my goodness. I feel like doing like this.
No,
Like
no. We're gonna be
seriously.
doing it to each other, okay? Because I'm
Listen,
truly
you
honored.
talking
Truly honored.
about a woman of many hats and facets, okay? So she is not a one trick pony, all right? This woman has her hands in so many things and she is blessing women tremendously. And so, I always start with the same question for every guest.
And I'm
And
gonna say hi to the face my Instagram community.
oh yeah, hi Instagram. Thank
Hello,
you.
hello.
Listen, look, she bringing a whole following. Okay, so uh, come on in here and get some of this because it is going to be rich and it's going to be deep and it is going to be so impactful. So my very first question I ask everyone because I want the community to know the level of expertise that I am bringing on this into this group on this channel for people to really develop themselves in so many different ways. We've had people here on health, finances, their spiritual walk. We touched mental health the other day. And all of that kind of encompass what you're here to talk
It
about.
does.
Okay? All right, y'all see
It
that? Did you see
does.
how we did that, right? So my first question I ask every guest is who are you and how do you help people take action in their purpose? So you take it away.
Who am I? I am Sabrina Monroe, the author of She Has the Keys, a belief transformation guide to unlocking the doors to your gifts, dreams, and purpose.
Mm.
I am also a ordained minister. I am also a serial entrepreneur. I own three businesses in addition to the book. I have Prissy Projects and Designs where we customize gifts and products for small businesses and the everyday person. And I also have Papistry by Sabrina, which is my small boutique cottage food bakery where I offer sweets and cakes and things of that nature for the DMV area. And what else? What else? What
And
else?
can I just say they good too, y'all. Let me tell you something. They vegan and good. Okay? So don't sleep on it. Are they all vegan?
So when I first started Popper Street, I started just doing traditional treats.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with cake. I could bake because I was taught how to bake from my grandmother,
Mm.
but it was more so about the treats, the small bite-sized things, mainly cake pops.
That's what I was about to
But
say. Was
then
the cake pops is what I got. I was like cake pops,
Yeah,
Lord.
but that evolved into cake. So I'm a cake stylist, meaning I actually do cakes that look like things. So it could be
Like a shoe.
like a shoe. It could be a box, a tennis shoe box, like a camera. That's one of my recent things that I just recently did
Wow.
earlier this year. And I love it. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of my creativity. It's a part of the gifts that God gave me. And
Mm.
so I enjoy it. And I'm a coach as well.
Wow.
So
The
yeah,
list
I,
keeps
the
going
list keep
on.
going.
Do you
It's
see what
probably
I'm
something
saying?
else.
Do
Mom,
you
wife.
see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Right? All right. So we don't bring no shabby people on
Oh,
this channel, okay?
and my career profession in my former life, because I am a full time entrepreneur
That
right now,
part.
is
Can you say that again?
full time entrepreneur.
Okay.
I was a information governance and records manager,
Okay.
where I oversaw law firm, the size of probably over 700, 800 attorneys, where
Wow.
I managed
That's a
people
lot.
across offices, where we ensured the integration and migration of electronic records and hard copy records. So I dibble and dabble a lot in there. There's some things that's going to come next year as well in regards to that, because it is one of my sweet spots, because I enjoyed it, but it's not my passion.
Okay. And that's the thing. So many people are good at things and they think that the thing that they're really good at is their purpose, and that may be a part of it, but that may not be the thing. And especially when you multifaceted,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's easy for, let's use the athlete for instance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have a talent and they're developing that talent, and that becomes their purpose, is to
Yep.
be an athlete, right? But for some of us, like you just said, you have so many gifts and talents. How do you narrow in on the one, or how does the cross section
Mm-hmm.
of all of these things lead you into your purpose and how to fulfill it? So that wasn't one of the questions, but if
But
you
it's
ready,
good.
if
It's
you ready to
good.
take it on, I'm ready
Yes.
to listen.
Yeah, so what I realized, and this didn't happen until almost 2 years now. It's been almost 2 years since I was released. Released. I say God released me
Absolutely.
from my former position, but it was, they called it a position. What is it called? Position elimination.
Mm,
And yes, something like that happens, almost tragic, right? We
yeah.
get upset, we get sad, but I had my moment for a moment,
Mm,
and immediately I knew it was God, because so many other things happened prior to that that brought me to that day to understand that this was prophetic. This was
mm-hmm.
supposed to happen,
Right.
So, yes, even though, the position was eliminated,
Uh-huh.
God pushed me into my purpose. He
Mm-hmm.
pushed me into things that I had already been doing for years,
Mm.
but was, had some fear and some doubt, stepping out on faith to do. But he said, now is the time.
And you had nothing to hold you back at
I,
that point.
I had zero.
So many people, they want to do it, but they're hesitant
Mm-hmm.
because of the job,
Mm-hmm.
because we are addicted to the check.
It's a safety
It's a
mechanism.
safety, it's the comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? And sometimes, and I am a, I do believe, because even for me, being a serial entrepreneur as you are, I still work my 9 to 5 right now.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with
And
it.
there's
Let's
nothing
just be
wrong with
clear.
that. It's nothing wrong with that, because I do believe in what I call my 9 to 5 now is my silent partner. My my job is my silent partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
For now. But even before we got on live, we were talking. I said, but I know that God will be releasing me from that, but in due season.
That's right.
So there is a time for everything,
Everything under the
right?
sun.
Exactly. And
Now,
sometimes,
y'all know what I mean. The
yeah,
sun.
the sun, right? And so the word tells us, right, that there's a time to laugh and a time to cry. So there's a time where you should stay employed
Mm-hmm.
and develop yourself in your purpose,
That's right.
develop yourself in your talents,
Mm-hmm.
develop yourself in your skills, and to prepare yourself for the season of releasing. Because it sounds like you were preparing yourself, and then God said the time has
Yes,
come,
ma'am.
and then the release happened. Isn't that something?
It was amazing. It's
Oh
what
my
it
goodness.
was, because I had just submitted my final edit to my book to
Mm,
my editor, and it just, when God said it,
mm.
And I'm just like, oh, okay, this is what we're about to do. All right, then, let's go.
So
Let's
you
go.
you are encouraging so many people right now who probably are thinking to themselves, I know there's something more for me to do.
Hmm.
I do love what I do. It sounds like you were great at what you did.
I was.
You said it was a sweet spot for you, right? So it sounds like you were very accomplished in that, but there was still something pulling you, tugging you, and it was something, it was a calling for something more. So I can't wait. So my next question is, what is purpose and why is it so important that we discover it?
So, what is purpose? And people say purpose is so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
My idea of purpose is exactly making other people feel some kind of way.
Mm.
So it's not attached to a thing, so to speak. And I realized that I was at a conference, and one of my former coaches, when she said purpose isn't what you do, it's how you make other people feel. And I said, oh, okay, now I got it.
Mm-hmm.
So my purpose is my impact.
Mm.
And I realized at that moment that, dang it, Sabrina, you've been doing this for a long time. You've been a passion pusher, a pourer into people for a very long time.
Mm. Passion
So
pusher. I'm sorry. There you go.
that's my little tagline.
Okay, passion pusher. It just said ping. I'm sorry.
And it's just it comes natural, because I believe that we should all have empathy towards other people, and if anything, we should be pouring into people to lift them up, not to tear them down. So
Absolutely.
it matters to me. It matters that if you're going through a situation, how can I help you go through that situation? What is there that I can do? Is it some encouraging words? Is it just me showing up? Is it just me being a servant? Because most importantly, first and foremost, I am a servant of the Most High God,
Absolutely.
and I don't play when it comes to that.
Mm.
So my friends will tell you, like, yes, I'm a friend of the friend. You know what I mean? Because it's important. People need to know that they have support. They need to know that there's somebody there for them. That's
Absolutely.
and even though they might not be the ready to be pushed, you can't just leave them on the island.
No.
Because
No.
if you're not pushing them, who is?
Exactly.
Especially if they're in fear, they're in doubt, and nobody's behind them, nobody's encouraging them, nobody's telling them who they are, whose they are, what they can do, and they just stuck in that selling place and like, oh, woe is me, I can't, oh, I'm not. No, you are.
Mm-hmm. And so many people have been there for way too long. And everything that you just said costs us absolutely nothing.
Zero.
Can I just tell you that? An encouraging word costs you absolutely nothing. But what it will do to someone else is everything. It's priceless. It's
Mm-hmm.
priceless. And so being there for someone, saying hello to someone, telling someone you look nice today,
Mm-hmm.
you will be surprised of how many people. I have said this in almost every conversation that I've had in this series. So many people are doing life alone,
Yes.
okay? Or they're doing life with the wrong people.
With the wrong people. Say that one more time.
With the wrong, they're doing life with the wrong people.
Yes.
And they need someone like you with a word of encouragement to help them break free
Yes.
from that circle of woe is me.
Mm-hmm.
She said it. You
Mm-hmm.
said it. So many people are going through and they're afraid.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid. And that's another thing.
Or they'll say they're stuck.
Oh, they're
But
stuck.
stuck is not a place, and it's not well. It's a place. It's not an emotion.
It's and being stuck is a temporary. It's not
It's
where
so
you
temporary.
live.
That's right.
It's not where you live. I can understand, feeling like, okay, right now, and let me just be very personal. Like right now, I do feel like, health wise, I'm a certified health coach, but right now I'm not at my healthiest, right? And I'm kind of in a place right now of no traction, but that's not somewhere I'm gonna stay.
That's right.
Right, and you have
That's
to
right.
understand when you're in a place where you can't get any traction.
It's
And now what
temporary.
you need to do, and that's why I'm an action coach, you need to figure out what do you need to do to get that traction.
That's it.
What actions do you need to take to get there? And so today we want to try to figure out what actions you need to take to get your purpose on track so you can get unstuck. And
Absolutely.
so I know your book, she's
This
the
little thing,
key.
this little thing.
She has the key. I'm sorry, she has the key. Does this book address some of those very questions of being um, in a place of no traction?
So, this book, and my girlfriend said it so eloquently, and now I'm using it as a part of the tagline for the book. It's a call to action.
Mm.
And who knew that this would happen, right?
Yeah, we didn't
Who
know.
knew? Only God knew.
Yes.
But it is a call to action to get you out of that place,
Mm-hmm.
that stuck place. That I'm not sure, I'm not certain, I'm in fear, I'm in doubt. To push you into who God called you to be,
Mm.
in a nutshell.
And can I just say, I want to be wherever God is.
That hello, the
And
best
if
place.
He is calling me to be something, that is going to be your best chance at life.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be afraid of that.
Mm-mm.
That's something we don't have to be afraid of. Now, what we do need to be afraid of is when we're doing our own thing. Because I can tell you, every time I've taken myself to a place that where He was not,
Mm-mm.
that's
Mm-mm.
where, you know,
Yeah.
things weren't right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to where God has called you and where He has created you to be, that's your best chance at
You
life.
don't have to worry about a thing.
Oh my goodness, that's the life more abundantly that He's
That's
talking
it.
about.
That's it.
You got to get to that place. You got to take those actions. I got to get to the next question because I'm excited.
And when you get to that place, it's going to be like nothing you've ever understood. Like it's unimaginable. Like the peace that I have
Mm.
is amazing
Without that job.
without a job. Like, will you have? And I don't want to, paint the picture as if it's just easy. No, it's not easy. Being an
No.
entrepreneur is not easy at all. This is, if you ain't ready
Hmm.
for it, you're not ready for
Let me
it.
tell you
But the
something.
thing is, when I got that call and I heard it, I felt it, and I unleashed a roar like I've never expressed in my life. But instantly, God said, I got you.
Mm.
I got you. And when I say no worries, no peace, no fear, it's just been full throttle.
Oh, wow.
I was able to accomplish more in 1 year than I had ever been able to accomplish doing the 9 to 5 and doing the business.
Wow. Woo. So, with that said, because you said so much, how has your faith, how has your faith helped you to develop your purpose?
So it's everything, without God in my life and not having the level of faith that I have now, I don't know where I would be. It's unexplainable in a sense, but it's like you just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be like the people in Sodom and Gomorrah. They
Mm.
look back and they
Salty.
turned into a pillar of salt.
Salty.
No, you keep moving forward and you
Mm-hmm.
wait for God. You first of all invite Him in. Invite Him into the process. Like I can't do nothing unless I talk to Him first about what it is that I'm going to do. Everything that I've done since May the 12th, I think it was 2023, it's been God.
Mm.
Everything. God ordained, God assigned, God purposed. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. And I'm like, okay, this what we doing, God? Oh, okay.
And that's why it's so important that we are connected and tapped into
Mm-hmm.
Him.
Mm-hmm.
This was a few series ago, we had Latricia
Mm-hmm.
on, and she was talking about our faith walk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so important that we are communing with God.
Absolutely.
So when it is time for the releasing, that we know the right direction.
That's it.
Because you could have been released and
And just been like sitting on the couch, eating popcorn, gaining weight, all the things. You know what I mean? But I've been on such a upward trajectory that I can't explain it. It's
Mm,
just so amazing. And it's like, okay, God, what's next? What's next?
that's exciting.
I mean, it is. Okay, this is what we doing. Okay, next.
And so, and then there's, and some people may be feeling like, well, I'm too old. Listen.
Don't even get me started on that. Like too old. I'm 51. Yes, there were things that I wanted to do in my youth that I didn't get a chance to do, but guess what? I can do them now.
Mm.
Age is just a number.
So it's never too late for you to start your purpose.
If you go back and do the research, because okay, menopause, and I don't remember all the names of the companies, but like you have Amazon. He didn't start until when he was in his 50s. You got Disney in his 40s, 50s, or 60s. Like all of the like very high level businesses, companies, entrepreneurs. You look at their repertoire, you will see that many of them started after 40s.
Wow. So don't.
So we have no excuse.
Age is not an excuse for anyone who's saying, well, if I was just 5 years younger, if I was 10 years younger, if you had caught me 15 years ago, I would have been ready. But now, no, it's never too late.
I'm sorry, here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you are stepping into your assignment, your preordained life that God predestined for you,
preordained life,
you will get the capacity to do everything that He already had laid out for you. Everything. And that's the most important, is understanding that you will get the capacity to do everything.
Wow.
You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to guess. He already said it in His promise that He would give us life and life more abundantly, right?
Absolutely, John.
And He did not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Mm-hmm. I'm in my sound mind era. Ooh, as they say,
sound mind era.
Sound mind era.
I don't know if y'all hear all these little nuggets, like these little sound bites, like sound mind era. Okay, because there was an era, I know I can say, that I probably wasn't in my right mind, because some of the decisions I was making,
listen,
they were not sound mind decisions. And doesn't it feel good to know that right now you have all your faculties?
Listen.
And you see a clear road ahead. And that's what we want for you guys. We want you to see the clear road ahead for your purpose.
Absolutely.
And so what would you say to someone who is struggling to find their purpose?
Here's what I tell my ladies in my cohort, No Lock Doors, that started post job elimination, post book drop. You have to believe who God says you are. If you don't believe in His word and trust in His word of who He says that you are, you will always remain lost. But you got to believe. It's deeper than just knowing it. It's deeper than, oh, I have this skill, I have these gifts, I have these talents. But do you believe it? Do you truly believe that you have what He's given you? If you don't believe it, then you just out here.
Yeah, I often said, and I believe I said it in my latest book, that belief is the activation of all of the promises that He has for you. Like they're all, like if you looked at it like a video game, right? And it's like when you power up, and you get that superpower, like I'm gonna think of Pac-Man, right? And you know how the Pac-Man would eat. Yeah, it was one of those things they would eat, right? It was like a fruit or something or whatever, and it go, and then you could just and that's what belief is. It's like it activates all of the promises, it really does. And it allows you to be able to step into the promise, step into the favor. But if you're not believing, because the word tells us a double-minded man, He's unstable in all of his ways.
That's it.
And so that's the reason why we need the faith to be able to go forward.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
then there's acceptance, because
Mm.
you can believe it and not accept it about you. You
Yeah,
have to accept who you are, who God created you to be,
1,000%.
because self doubt is real. We tell ourselves, "Oh, what we can do, what we can't do," all day long. Trust me, I did it.
Hmm.
That was me,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to believe and accept it for yourself in order
Absolutely.
to move forward and step into who God called you to be. Then you have to have the confidence to do it.
And
Because
that,
if you don't have the confidence, then like you still gonna be like one foot in the door, one foot out, playing double dutch,
that's
back and forth.
exactly, that's that double minded man. That's where that imposter syndrome comes in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't believe that God would call you
Yes.
to do something this big, this
Yes.
grand, this amazing,
You.
right? You.
Yeah, you.
And the thing is, see, he known you longer than you done known you. How about that part?
How about he?
He
No,
said he done known you since the foundation.
the foundation
Of-
before
of-
you was formed in your mother's womb. He knew you.
Knew you.
And in him knowing you, he know you better than you know you. So I'm trying to figure out, how do we not believe what he says?
Because honestly, we have had so much trauma
Mm-hmm. Yep.
from all of the opinions
Mm-hmm.
of others.
And
And we listen to the enemy too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole conglomerate
oh yeah.
of people, places, and things that are trying to keep us from being and walking in our purpose. Why? Because when we do that, then we affect other people. Like you said, walking in your purpose is being impactful, serving someone else,
That's right.
blessing someone else, helping someone else take off their chains because you've already taken yours off.
Absolutely.
So now you can share and show somebody how to do it for them.
Yeah, I'm like, take the shackles off my feet, Mary,
So I can what?
cue it up, so I can dance.
Oh,
But-
there it is.
But you said something. You said listening to the enemy, but there's also the inner me.
The
That's where
inner what?
inner me,
She said the inner me.
self doubt.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one? I can't think of it because I got menopause off the top of my
She
head.
said menopause brain.
Right, it comes.
That is a real
It's
thing.
a real thing.
It's a real thing.
And I'm
Yes.
mad nobody ever told me about it. Like, they didn't warn me about
Trust
it.
me, I'm
but here
figuring
we
that
are.
out now.
But no, like, we talk ourselves out of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We talk ourselves out of doing the things that we enjoy. And that alone is your inner me. Not, yes, enemy, but it's your inner self.
Yes,
You're talking yourself out of what you know that you should be doing.
absolutely. And mostly because you want to stay in your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to feel,
You don't, it's scary out there. No, it's not scary because wherever God is, there is safety. Safety
Mm-hmm.
in the Master's arms.
'Cause
Okay.
what we don't realize is, in Ephesians it says, He created us to do good works.
Mm,
So if He created us to do good works,
good work.
and you're not doing those good works, what
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And I you said something earlier about how people. I have a program called Second Act, and it seems like people when they are in the second half of their life,
wow.
right? Because I'm 50. You saying you're 51, so we're in the second half of our lives, right? Halftime, right? It seems like that's where it becomes a little clearer.
Mm-hmm. That's
Right.
when they get good.
That's when it get real good. So as we get older and we see what are we doing, what is our life, what is the meaning of our life? How are we helping? How are we serving? How are we joining God in His works?
That's it.
because that's really what it's all about. We're down here on assignment.
That's it.
Okay, that's what the whole ambassadorship is about.
Yes.
I hear that word thrown around so much. We are ambassadors. We are ambassadors. We are ambassadors.
Yeah, but even as being ambassadors, you have a level of responsibility.
Of course.
And if you're not owning up to your responsibility, then what?
Then you're not an ambassador.
Then you're not an ambassador. Let's
Fraud.
just be clear.
There's a lot of scam likely.
Right.
There's a lot of fraud out here. There's a lot of people out here who are not walking in their purpose, and so they are scamming themselves and all of the people that God has called them to help out of the fullness of life. Because when God gives you an assignment, there is someone else tied to it.
That's it.
It's never just for you. Nothing is ever just for you.
So, in essence, that's how your purpose aligns.
Oh, okay.
Your purpose is attached to your assignment.
That's right.
And if you're not fulfilling your assignment, that's just like you being on a job. If you're not fulfilling your assignment on that job, there's consequences, right?
Absolutely.
And I just actually did a video probably about a month or two ago, because I was at my uncle's funeral and the pastor was talking about he know that the Lord saw my uncle at the gates and said, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." And I said, "Well, what if we don't get the well done?"
Ooh. What if we
don't
get the
it?
I never knew you, away.
Get away from me.
Get away from me. I never knew you. You talking about that one? I don't even want to know that scripture, because that ain't gonna be nothing I ever hear.
That was another. That was another catalyst that helped to continue to shift my mindset and say, okay, we on this journey and we are going to continue this journey. There's no shrinking back.
No.
We don't have time to doubt. We don't have time to fear. We got to keep moving and doing exactly what God says when He says it and when it's time.
So I hear something. I hope you guys hear it. It's not time to shrink back, is what she said. It's time to take action. It's not time to be fearful. It is time to put your hands and feet to the fire, to the plow.
That's it.
Get out there and work the vineyard. One of the parables in Matthew that always hit home for me was the parable of the talents.
Go ahead now. See?
Okay. And
Get out my head.
Get out your head. And it's like, who wants to be the servant who has taken the talent that God has given you, which is the assignment, whatever blessing, whatever favor, whatever abundance that God has given you, and bury it? You know what? You know what God called him? Wicked.
You wicked, lazy servant is what He said. Wicked, lazy servant. And it's so funny. I'm laughing because one of my very first prayer branches was called the Call of Talents, and it was based on the parable of the talent.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yes,
I had no idea. But because
But
God knew. Because so many people are just sitting on their talent.
idle.
They're idle. Their hands are doing nothing. And they
They're
want
more
this
afraid
comfort.
of the talent than
Yeah.
not doing it.
Yeah. Now, let me just say this. There's risk in everything in life, right? But I want the risk that's on the Lord's side. Because I know that everything is going to work out for my good. The problem is the enemy has sold us so much on the fact that everything got to be just so. But if you notice, nothing. If everybody who God has used, David was running for his life at one point. From Saul, from his own son.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so everybody want these stories that are make believe. But if we want to know how God does things, we get in His Word.
That's it.
We learn it and we see His character and we look at the people that He has used, and none of them had a smooth sailing
It was not
into their purpose. because that is where the development comes.
Right, and there's no trial without error.
There you
Like,
go.
come on, you gotta go through the process. Everything is a process. It's not, oh, here, have it all, roses, and all the
Nope.
grandiose and glamorous things. No, there is a
That's
process,
a process.
and in order for you to get through the process, you gotta start.
You have to start.
You gotta start.
And that right there is half the battle.
Yeah.
Get to moving. Pick up whatever it is that you have put down because you were afraid of it,
Yeah.
and let's get started. Okay, let me move on to our next question.
We
I
could be here
know,
all night. I'm trying
I
to tell you.
know, I know. How do you know what this just leads? I didn't even realize this, but it leads right into the next question, which is how do we stay accountable to our purpose?
Ooh.
Because that's what we're just saying. Like you got to start, and then once you start, how do you stay accountable to the thing? Because listen, guys, seasons in life, we don't know how long it's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph saw the vision that God gave him in the dream,
Mm-hmm.
right? But look at the journey. Look at the look at the pit. Look at the jail. And look at all the things he went through before he landed in his position of
Mm-hmm.
authority. So, how do we stay accountable to our purpose when it looks like we're in a pit?
Mm. Get you some good people.
Mm.
I've said this for years, and I will say it till the day I die. If my people can't check me, you're not my people. You have to get yourself connected to some good people. Get you a tribe that's going to hold you accountable, not just your personal life, but your professional life. If you want to be an entrepreneur, the entire gambit. Here's why. If you just solo, doing it on your own, you get to play. You get to play with it.
Mm.
There's no accountability. You get to do it whenever you feel like it. Get on the couch and sit and eat chips all day, and then nothing gets done.
Nothing gets done.
But if you have a group of people that you are accountable to, that you sit and you meet and you talk things over, you have brainstorming sessions, you have meetups to talk about what's the goals for next month, what's the goals for next year. If you don't have that, you just gonna kind of just be willy nilly. I don't get to be willy nilly because I have a group of women that I'm accountable to that will call me and check. Hey sis, what you doing? Oh, okay. Well, I'm just calling and checking on you. Or I haven't talked to you in 2 days. When you have people in your life that like that can sense something because the Holy Spirit obviously has whispered your name in their ear
Mm-hmm.
to say, hey, call and check.
Mm-hmm.
You got good people.
You got good people.
And if I did not have the tribe of women that I have in my life, my family, my husband, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know
I love that answer.
where I will be right
I
now.
love that answer. And you said something early on. You said someone who can check you because the Word of God tells us that wounds from a friend can be trusted,
Be trusted.
right? So when you have someone who say, "Hey, I thought you said you was going to get that done. What's up with that?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
when you going to finish that project?
Yeah.
I have a friend who was just like, "Hey, when you gonna get a manager?" I was like, "I am, but my second store. I'm waiting for my second store to the business to start picking up. But you need that person to remind you because we have blind spots,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? We have blind spots, and that's why we need friends that
That's
we
right.
can trust
Mm-hmm.
to show us the areas that we can't see,
That's right.
and also to check us on the things that we should be doing
And they gonna be able to pray for you too,
and pray for
because
us.
mine pray for me. I'm just
Absolutely.
saying that your tribe matters.
Absolutely.
Your
The
tribe
people
matters.
you connect yourself with matters.
Mhm. Mhm.
As you elevate, you're going to find yourself in rooms that you weren't before.
Yep.
You're gonna see also some friendships, and can we talk a little bit
Come on,
about that?
let's talk about it.
There's gonna be some alignment with some people, and some things that are out of alignment with others, right? I had some friends that I have this one. I would say one acquaintance now, but we were really good friends some years ago.
Mhm.
But now I see just how out of alignment
Yes.
we are with each other.
Mhm.
There is nothing in common anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And you have to be willing to let those relationships go
Yep.
so that you can stay in alignment with Him.
That's right.
It's better for me to be in alignment with God, with Christ, with my purpose,
Mhm.
with my assignment,
That's right.
than to be in alignment with someone who their season is up in my life.
That's it. Because I mean, think about it. If you're not in alignment with God and you still trying to play on this end,
Mm.
how does that even measure up?
It doesn't.
It's you're imbalanced.
It doesn't.
You're imbalanced, and you can't. It can't be like a scale and go up and down because God don't have time to be playing with you.
Oh no.
He gonna move on to the next.
Hot cold. He said that's one thing about God. He is so either or. It's no in betweens. That's why I'm like, that's how anything you see that's in between, it ain't of God.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna
Mm-mm.
leave that alone. Now apply that to every area
Every
and
area.
just say, yes, no, hot, cold.
Mm-hmm.
God don't do maybe so's.
That part
Okay.
doesn't mean that because the word of God says He will never leave you or nor forsake you. Doesn't mean He's not there. No,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that He's not there. He's still there.
Always.
But are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Is the question. Are you there?
And are you listening? Are you listening? And have you turned Him down so low
That
for
you can't
so
even
long
hear.
that you don't know His voice, you can't hear His voice, right? Because things are, as you said before, they're out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And so your tribe matters, and make sure that the people that you are in a tribe with, I don't know what would you call that, but whatever community that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
that you guys are all going in the same direction.
That's right, because you don't need stagnant people in in the tribe.
Oh yeah.
Like we all should be going somewhere, and it doesn't mean that we're all going to go at the same pace.
Right.
Some are going to, trot a little behind, but that doesn't mean that you're not still in the same tribe.
But the mindset has to
But
be
the
the same.
mindset
The
gotta be the
mindset.
same.
The mindset.
It has to be the same. Absolutely.
The word tells us, do not be
Do
deceived.
not be deceived.
Bad company corrupts good character.
That's right.
Okay? And so we have to make sure that we are in alignment with the right
Absolutely.
people. All right, so we coming in, we about to land the plane. So how do we know that we're walking in our purpose?
Ooh, that one was hard. I was like, we know we're working for, and again, I didn't. I wanted to, I wanted everything to be organic because I'm real.
Mm-hmm.
It's you gonna get either me or not me.
It's gonna be you. It's gonna be her or her. It's gonna be her or her. Right.
But how do you know that you're in purpose? You know that you're in purpose when your peace matches your purpose.
When your peace matches your purpose.
And what I mean by that is, like, I knew years ago, being who I am, because what I'm what I, this she has the keys. What I'm doing that I've been doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but what I didn't have peace. There was distraction. There was no, a whole lot of noise. There was a whole lot of, negativity. A whole lot of people that I should not have been attached to. But now that I am in this space, I'm aligned with God because I can't do what I'm doing unless I'm doing it with Him.
Absolutely.
And the level of peace, again, like I said earlier, the level of peace that I have today, mentally, I cannot describe it. It is so indescribable that like the joy, it's joy. It's unexplainable joy that I have knowing that I can do exactly what God called me to do. I can be exactly who God called me to be without doubt, without fear, without any reservation or second guessing myself. I don't want to be in a reprobate mindset. I want to know fully that this is what God has for me to do. And now that I know that, it's full throttle.
Mm.
I'm not go backwards. Why? Why do I want to do that? There's stress there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no stress.
There's a peace that comes along with walking in your purpose.
Absolutely.
And that is the peace that surpasses all understanding. Because it may not make sense to some people that you release yourself into your purpose. And what I mean by release yourself, like your situation, you said God released you. He took that away from you.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to give man that much credit.
Right. That's right. And then there are times where God is calling you, and He's saying, "I'm telling you, go ahead and put your notice in."
Right.
If that is the case, right?
There were many times.
There were many times, and you wouldn't do it,
and I do.
So He said,
like, "God, the paycheck is just looking too good." That was my security blanket. What?
It definitely be looking good. It definitely looking good.
So I was like, "Oh no."
So Jesus took the wheel.
Yeah, Jesus.
He took the wheel.
Took the wheel. And drove that thing down. It's like, okay, this is what we are doing, and you are going to be fine. Like, will you have in the back of your head, will you have a moment? Like, let's be real.
Right.
There may be moments.
Right.
But.
Right. And everybody's purpose is not to leave your job. Okay. Let's be very clear on that. Some people's purpose is in the very job that they're in.
Absolutely.
You have to know that. And it's all about accepting, like you said,
that's it.
Accepting what your purpose is, walking in that identity. Now you know that that's who you are, believing that God has called you for such a time as this.
That's it.
In the place, in the position that you are in, to do the thing He has called you to do at that moment, for the group of people that you are already connected to or you're called to. He will bring those people to you once you have positioned yourself. But you have to get into position. For some people, yes, you are going to have to leave that job because it may be hindering you from doing all the things and moving into the season of abundance that He's asking you to move into. And not that you can't be abundant in a job. I want to be very, very clear.
Absolutely can.
Very, very clear that all of that can happen inside of employment. You have to understand what is best for you.
That's right.
You got to be able to hear God speaking to you individually.
That's it.
And knowing relationship. Understanding. I'm all about understanding God's character. And what does that mean? How does He typically operate? When you know your friend's character, one of my girlfriends, she's actually on right now.
I see you.
She called me. Yesterday, and she said, "Oh, I just called for you to tell me to say what the flip." Right, because that's one of my little sayings I say. She said, "I already know. That's what you going to say." She know my character.
That's right.
Right, and so understanding God's character, you know how He operates.
That's it.
You trust Him.
That's it.
You trust. It's kind of one of those You've seen these exercises where somebody falls back,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know that the people are going to
You know they're
catch
gonna
you.
catch you.
That's God
That
all
and that's
day long.
that is I
With hands
such
up.
such a good analogy,
Woo!
because that's exactly where I've been.
Free falling. She like
Like,
this.
I
Free
got a whole
falling.
listen. I got a whole house. I got a whole child. I got a whole husband. I have responsibilities, and the whole six-figure career taken away.
That part.
Like what? But God,
That part.
I have God. He positioned me. Like I think about it and say, okay, what if I was still there? Would I have had the opportunity to do specific, very specific things that I have never done? Would I be sitting right here, right now?
I don't know.
We do not know.
We do not know.
But we'll never know if we don't try.
We never know if we don't try.
And step out on faith and just do what He called you to do. Because He called you to a purpose. You know what that purpose is. You have to tap into Him to identify what that purpose is. Believe it, know it, accept it, and walk in it. And it's not your confidence, it's His confidence.
Confidence is in Him.
Because He could do all things, impossible things. We can't.
We just have to believe it can be done.
That
is our part. Our part is to believe.
Do your part.
Do your part. We know that God is never going to do your part, and you definitely can't do God's part. Because if you could do God's part, you would have already done something different for yourself.
That part.
Okay? So, but if you do your part, He's definitely
his.
going to do His. And
exceedingly and abundantly more.
All things.
That you could ever ask or think.
Okay? And for those who are worried about what it will look like,
don't worry about it.
I want you to remember this part too. The little boy with the fish and the bread. How many did that little fish, them little fish and breads? Okay, 500 men, and that did not count women and children. Whatever God gives you will sustain you.
It certainly will.
When you walk in your purpose.
And that's so funny. See, God be knowing. My prayer, well, I think it was the Saturday after my let me rewind. So my last day on the job, my mother had previously, 2 months prior, purchased us tickets to go see Yolanda Adams, Donnie McClurkin, and I think it was might have been John P. Key.
That's not about right.
Mother's Day celebration.
That's not about right.
I didn't pick my last day. They told me what my last day would be. But I get to then walk out of 20-something years of employment to go and celebrate.
Celebrate.
Are you serious?
It became a celebration.
What? It was a whole celebration because, like, God knew. He knew. He knew that He would not have me in a sullen place. He knew that He would not have me sitting on the couch crying, boo-hoo, tears, snot, and all of those things, because there was a celebration waiting for me at the end. I could not make my life up. And all the things that happened after that, I could not make it up. Even till today, I could not make these things up. And my prayer that weekend, I also went to, it's like dinner in Blanc, but it was all in pink at a local church. And I had to write on the card a prayer on a post-it note. And we had to turn our backs and face the person behind us. And I was standing behind the sister. I did not know her from Adam or Eve. And I gave her my prayer. And she turned back around and she looked at my prayer. And she said, "Can I give this to my friend across here?" And I said, "Sure." She said, "You'll understand when I give it to her."
Okay.
She gave her my prayer, and I received her prayer. So we actually exchanged prayers for one another. and we had the exact same prayer. God sustain me in my unemployment. So he will sustain you,
Mm,
not just in your unemployment, but whatever your step is. When you step out on faith and do what he has called you to do, he will sustain you. He will do that. You can bet on that, and he will win
every time.
every single time.
Every time. He's victorious. He is victorious in every battle. Oh my goodness. This has been so amazing. But before you go, you have to share a little bit about your book. A little bit about your book. Is there anything you want to, maybe a passage you want to read to us?
So yes, I can do that.
Okay.
So one of my favorite. Let's see. I have so many favorites.
And
Again,
tell us again what
this
the name of the book
the
is.
name of the book is "She Has the Keys: A Belief Transformation Guide to Unlocking the Doors to Your Gifts, Dreams, and Your Purpose."
And this book is available on
It
Sabrina.
is available on SheHasTheKeys.com, and the ebook will be available Black Friday.
Black Friday. Okay. So listen, community, you know, every time we have a guest on, they always have something special for you. Okay. So Black Friday, you can get the ebook. So if you want to know more about how to discover, walk in your purpose, this is going to be the book for you. So she's going to give us just a little bit, a little snapshot, a little appetizer, a little taste of the book. So,
So this is one of my most favorite sections. Is actually the kickoff to believing. And the affirmation, first I start with the affirmation, and it says, "There's a difference between the state of knowing and being who you are." I'm sorry, that's the title, not the affirmation. Self discovery is an important step on the journey toward authenticity. Knowing our personality traits, values, and beliefs can provide us with a foundation upon which we can build a life that aligns with our true selves.
it is.
However, simply knowing who we are is not enough. To truly be who we are, we must undergo a process of self discovery that involves aligning our actions, thoughts, and emotions with the innermost selves. This process of aligning to your true self takes time and effort. It requires us to be introspective, reflective, and honest with ourselves. It also involves making difficult choices and stepping out of your comfort zones. But in the end result is a life that is fulfilling, meaningful, and true to our deepest selves. Believing in oneself is also an essential component in this journey. It is not enough to simply know who we are and what we want. We must also believe that we have the ability to embody our true selves, even in the face of challenges and adversity. Self belief gives us the courage and confidence to pursue our dreams and live our lives on our own terms. In essence, the difference between knowing yourself and being who you are lies in the process of self discovery and alignment. I'm sorry, you guys, that is my mother. My mother is calling. It takes courage, self awareness, and belief in oneself to confidently embody your true self.
Mm.
But the rewards are infinite. A life that is authentic, meaningful, fulfilling, and purposeful. Believing is the added value.
Oh, wow. That literally summed up this entire conversation tonight. I mean, if you don't want to get the book now, I mean, come on.
It really did.
There's some good stuff right there. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for, yes, thank you for joining us tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to share with the community before we head off?
So, I mean, we've said a lot
Yes.
tonight, and I would just continue to encourage you that if there are gifts and talents that you're just sitting on, trust God, talk to God, Allow Him to help you work through that process and step out on faith and do what He says and has called you to do. He will not fail you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. He will be there with you every step of the way. Even when you're shaking in your boots, He will be there to guide you. He will be your listening ear.
Mm.
He will be your confidant. But get you a tribe of people that's going to champion you the entire way, that's going to support you, that's going to love you through it, that's going to help you, that's going to push you, that's not going to talk down to you, but they're going to pick you up and they're going to help you work through the process as God is leading you through the process. Okay? And there, I mean, there's so many things. The thing is, when we are multifaceted and you kind of sometimes don't know which one to flow in, but all of what I flow in is creativity.
Mm.
Even as an author, it's creativity. But I dare not to say that I wrote this on my own. This is God's book. This is what He gave to me the night before, sitting on the beach with a group of women. And this is what He told me to put into the earth, because there's a group of women or men, because the book is not gender based, it's just pink. So that's my favorite color.
Mine too.
But there's a group of people that were like me, that were fearful and doubtful, that talked themselves out of everything that was already before me to be able to do. And you don't necessarily have to pick one, but start one and just start there. So I mean, you heard all the businesses that I have. They all flow in my level of creativity, because that's what I enjoy to do, and being creative. So in me being creative, I'm able to, flow in each of those areas, not at the same time, because that's what people get. They get it's misconceived notions about, oh, well, you doing too much, because that's what
Oh,
I used to hear. You doing too much, and it bothered me.
mm.
But you're not. You're flowing in your gifts. You're doing exactly what God told you to do. You're just not doing them all at the same time. I don't run Papistry the same time that I'm running Prissy Projects. If I'm working on Papistry today, I'm working on Prissy Projects maybe tomorrow. Will there be some things that may intertwine? Yes, because as a baker, I need a topper for my cake, so I might need to make a topper for my cake because, yeah, but that's, a part of what it is. But I get to do it, and I have peace, and I have joy, and I'm excited about it. You know, when especially when people let me be creative. Then you have some times when people don't let you be creative, but you have to find your footing. You have to find your where your niche, whatever that is, whatever it looks like, and just do it. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do, especially if God gave it to you to do it. Okay. With that said, I also teach cricket classes. That's a part of Prissy Projects.
Okay.
So we have a class coming up on November the 30th in Fort Washington, Maryland, where I will be teaching women how to create their own T-shirts for holidays and
Mm.
other things that.
How do they join that, or how do they sign up for that?
I have a link in my bio on my Prissy Projects page.
Okay.
They can go.
We're gonna make sure we add that to the group, so anyone who's interested in taking that.
Yeah, because there's YouTube University, but then there's people like me that are very, very visual, very hands-on, and I want to teach people. I want to see other people win,
Absolutely.
male or female. I want to see everybody win, and a lot of people enjoy creating things. So grab your Cricut. Some people have them still sitting in the box from 2 years ago, Chris, and they haven't even opened it up. So I want to teach them how to use it, because why it can also turn into a stream of income for you.
I may have to buy one.
Okay. I'll teach you.
Yeah, I said I need to start making the uniforms for our team members instead of buying them. So yes, yeah, interesting.
Okay.
Yes. Anything else you want to
Mental
share?
note.
Anything else you want to share?
We're currently in cohort 3. Yay, cohort 3
Congratulations.
for No Lock Doors for She Has the Keys book, and cohort 4 will be open in probably about February, March of 2025. So if you're interested and you're ready to step out on faith and step into who God called you to be, come follow me on She Has the Keys book on Instagram. Sabrina Monroe on Facebook, and I will help you. I enjoy it. I enjoy helping people do exactly what God called them to do. I'm
Wow.
your passion pusher.
The passion pusher
Well, maybe
has
we should change
spoken.
that now. Purpose pusher.
Okay,
I don't know. We
purpose
gotta figure
pusher
out
has spoken.
that.
This has been amazing. Thank you again.
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
hope you guys, anyone who is watching the replay, I'm going to tell you right now, anyone who is here and you're watching the live, you might want to get a pad and pencil and start writing down the notes. Look at the replay because there were so many nuggets. There was so much that was said and shared. I don't want anyone to miss it, but I just want to thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
yes,
Thank you
and
for having
thank
me.
you everyone who has been showing up for this In Action series. We really want you to take action in every area of your life because we want you to win in life. We want you to fulfill the purpose and the assignment that God has called you to do. So, until next time, you know what I say, stay activated, and we'll see you in the next series.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. 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 Bye.